The video from her best friend showed my wife kissing another man. They looked so intimate, like a couple deep in the throes of a new romance. And right at that moment, my wife was on FaceTime with me, telling me she had just finished her yoga class. The tenderness in her eyes and the gentle curve of her smile used to be my comfort. Now, they just made me want to throw up. I watched the entire video without a flicker of emotion. 15 seconds. That's all it took for a marriage to fall apart. In the video, the man was wearing a tight tank top, and his body was, admittedly, perfect. Chloe was nestled in his arms, a bashful look on her face that I had never seen before. At the end, she even initiated the kiss. My phone screen was still lit up with the last message she'd sent. "Honey, I'm craving that bolognese sauce you make. I've been thinking about it all day." Disgusting. I felt a wave of nausea roll through my stomach. Just then, another message came through from her friend. "Ethan, I'm so sorry. I went back and forth on whether to tell you, but I think you have a right to know the truth." His name is Caleb. He's a personal trainer at Chloe's studio. This has been going on for months. I took a deep breath and replied to my wife, "Okay, I'll go pick up the ingredients." At 6:30, I was in the kitchen, simmering the sauce. As the aroma filled the house, I heard the sound of a key in the lock. "Honey, I'm home." Her voice was as sweet as ever. "It smells so good. I'm starving after my class today." She wrapped her arms around me from behind, her voice playful. I fought the urge to shove her away. Instead, I turned and patted her head. "Go get changed. It'll be ready soon." She nodded and bounced up the stairs. I pulled out my phone and re-watched the video. The kiss happened at 3:20 p.m. And now, here she was playing the part of the perfect wife. I had no idea when she'd become such a talented actress. During dinner, she chatted about the studio while she ate. She said business was booming, with clients trying to get in shape for summer. She said the atmosphere at the studio was great, that everyone was so friendly. So friendly that she and that guy were all over each other. "Oh, by the way, honey, I might have to work this weekend. A client booked a private session," she said, looking down at her plate as if it were an afterthought. I laughed coldly to myself, but my voice was full of concern. "Okay, just get home safe. And make sure you get some rest. Don't overdo it. You've lost weight recently." "I will. You're the best, honey." She beamed, her smile as bright as a flower. Later that night, lying in bed in the dark, I started to replay our marriage in my head. 3 years. Not so long, but not so short either. The first year, we were like something out of a rom-com. The second year, I was focused on my career, but I never forgot to surprise her. The third year, I finally secured my position at the company, having just been promoted to director of engineering. I thought we would go on like this, happy and stable, forever. Just last month, I overheard her telling her friend that marrying me was the luckiest thing that had ever happened to her. Thinking back on it now, she had probably already been sleeping with that guy. I picked up my phone and sent messages to a few private investigators. I want to know every single sordid detail. The next morning, I drove her to the studio, just like always. On the way, she leaned back in the passenger seat, scrolling through her phone, letting out little laughs every so often. "Who are you texting? You look happy," I asked casually. "Oh, no one. Just the work group chat," she said, quickly locking her phone. I noticed the tips of her ears were turning red. How pathetic. My wife, blushing in front of me because she was flirting with another man. At 9 that night, she said she had to work late. I quietly drove to the street near her studio, and sure enough, I saw her walk out with him. They didn't do anything intimate, just looked like two colleagues leaving work. But I knew it was just an act. The photos from a private investigator started coming in. An intimate glance, a lingering touch, and hotel security footage. 3 different hotels, all on different dates. My hands were shaking, but my mind was clearer than ever. I was going to make them pay. For the rest of the week, I was more attentive than ever. I brought her cronets from that bakery she loves, went shopping with her, and listened patiently to her stories about work. She seemed a little surprised by the attention, but mostly she looked guilty, as she should. A husband this gentle, and this is how she repays him. On Saturday, she said she was going to work. I knew she was going to see him. I opened my laptop and pulled up all the evidence I had collected. Then I sent her a text. "Craving Italian tonight. Meet you at our spot." Ah, I might be a little late today. It's okay. I'll wait for you. At 8 o'clock, I was sitting in the restaurant. It was our favorite place. She always ordered the gnocchi with truffle sauce. Now I understood why she kept saying she wasn't in the mood for it lately. She'd probably had her fill of other things with another man. When she walked in, her face was flushed. Probably just came from an intense workout session. Honey, I'm so sorry. We were just swamped with clients today, she said, sliding into the booth and starting to make excuses. I smiled. It's fine. Waiting for you is always sweet. She paused for a second, then gave me a sugary smile. You're the best. I put a piece of calamari on her plate. Business at the studio must be really good. It is. Summer's coming, so everyone wants to get in shape. What's the name of that new trainer again? Caleb. I hear he's pretty popular, I asked nonchalantly. Her fork stopped mid-air. Oh yeah, he's popular. He used to be a professional athlete, so his technique is really good. So you two are close. We're friendly. Just normal colleagues, she said, looking down and pretending to be busy with her food. I pulled out my phone and played the video. This kind of normal colleague relationship. The color drained from her face. Honey, I can explain. Her voice was trembling. I slid the phone across the table to her. Explain? Explain you two getting a hotel room. Explain you hooking up in a locker room? Or explain how you just got out of his bed an hour ago. Tears instantly welled in her eyes. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. You know you were wrong? I scoffed. Then tell me, when did it start? 3 months ago. She mumbled, her head bowed low. 3 months, I repeated. In 3 months, how many times did you sleep with him? Every time you came back from seeing him, did you rush to take a shower? Then crawl into my bed and tell me you missed me? No, that's not it. Honey, it was a moment of weakness. A moment of weakness. A moment of weakness that lasted for 3 months. My voice turned to ice. Explain it to me. Why would you do this? Was I not good enough to you? Or could I not satisfy you in bed? She finally broke down. I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong. He was just there for me when I was feeling down, and then it just happened. I know I shouldn't have. I regret it so much. Regret. I pulled a stack of papers from my briefcase. Good. These are the divorce papers. Take a look and see if you want to change anything. No. She grabbed my hand. Honey, please forgive me. I'll never do it again. I'll cut off all contact with him. I'll quit my job. I'll do anything you say. I pull my hand away. Chloe, do you really think I could ever trust you again? I really know I was wrong. Her makeup was smeared from crying. Honey, you can hit me. You can yell at me. Just please don't divorce me. Hit you? Yell at you? I laughed. You think I'd lift a finger for a piece of trash like you? Are you even worth it? She froze. In all the time we had known each other, I had never spoken to her in that tone. You have 3 days to sign the papers. Otherwise, I'm sending the videos to your parents, I said, standing up. By the way, you said his technique was good, right? Well, you two enjoy it. I turned and walked away, her sobs echoing behind me. But I knew she wasn't crying for our marriage. She was just terrified of losing the life she had. A cheating bitch doesn't deserve my forgiveness. When I got home, I opened the closet. Half of the clothes inside were things I had bought for her, some of them incredibly expensive. The irony of her wearing these clothes to meet another man was sickening. I started packing a bag. I couldn't stand to be in this house for another minute. My phone buzzed incessantly with texts from her. Honey, please forgive me. I really know I was wrong. Just give me one more chance. Can you please come home? We need to talk about this. I blocked her number. The phone rang. It was her best friend. Ethan, I know you're furious right now, but thank you for telling me the truth. I cut her off. But let's not be in touch anymore. I understand, she sighed. Take care of yourself. I checked into a hotel near my office. The next morning, she was waiting for me at the entrance to my building. Her hair was a mess, and her eyes were red and swollen from crying. She rushed over as soon as she saw me get out of my car. Honey, I walked right past her. Please, just listen to me, she begged, grabbing my sleeve. I know I was wrong. I'll change. I'll do whatever you want. I shook her hand off. Let go. If you keep harassing me, I'm calling the cops. She stood there, stunned, as if she couldn't believe I would say something like that. I walked into the building as my colleagues whispered around me. In their eyes, I was probably just the poor victim, but I didn't want their pity. I wanted revenge. Back in my office, I started putting my plan into motion. If they want to play games, I would play to win. First, I hacked into the studio's security system. It didn't take long to find footage of them in the locker room. Then came their DMs, explicit flirting, private photos, everything. I compiled all the evidence, ready to deploy it at the right moment. When I got back to the hotel that evening, I found her crouched by my door. She shot up the moment she saw me. "Honey, I've been waiting for you all day." "You have a lot of free time," I said coldly. "Shouldn't you be with your new boyfriend?" "I broke it off with him completely," she said frantically. "I deleted his number. I'm never seeing him again." "Oh," I held up my phone. "Really? Then what were you two doing in the supply closet at the gym this afternoon at 3? Her face went pale. How did you know?" "A slut is a slut," I sneered. "Why are you in such a hurry to see me? Did he just finish with you?" "That's not what happened." She covered her face and started to sob. "He cornered me. He wanted to know why I was suddenly breaking up with him. And you decided to give him some breakup sex to soften the blow." "Honey." She reached for me. I took a step back. "You're disgusting. Get away from me." Watching her fall apart, I felt a surge of satisfaction. This was right. This was the price of betrayal. The studio's official Instagram account suddenly posted a statement. It said an employee had violated the company's code of conduct through an inappropriate relationship. No names were mentioned, but everyone knew who they were talking about. Soon, Caleb's social media mentions were a dumpster fire. Someone leaked that he had a history of hitting on married clients, posting screenshots and stories of his past flings. Chloe's life imploded too. Her clients started canceling their sessions en masse, saying they didn't want to learn yoga from someone like her. The other instructors of the studio began to avoid her, afraid of being associated with the scandal. She called me hundreds of times and sent even more texts. I didn't answer a single one. I knew this was only the beginning. A week later, the studio announced that both Caleb and Chloe had been fired. The reason cited was a severe breach of professional ethics that had damaged the studio's reputation. That same day, an explicit video of them surfaced on a popular fitness subreddit. It was taken down quickly, but not before it had spread like wildfire through the community. Caleb called me, absolutely furious. "Ethan, was this you? Are you behind this?" "I'm sorry, who is this?" I asked, feigning ignorance. "Don't play dumb with me. You're the one who leaked those videos, weren't you?" "Oh, you mean the videos of Chloe cheating on me," I said with a laugh. "What's the matter? If you're going to do the crime, you have to do the time. Did you really think you could screw another man's wife without any consequences?" He was so angry he could barely speak. "Do you have any idea what you're doing? You're ruining my career." "Is that so? What a shame," I said slowly. "But you're such a stud, right? I'm sure you'll find your next target soon enough." "You just wait," he snarled before hanging up. "Wait?" I was going to make him understand what happens when you mess with me. Rumors began to circulate in the fitness world that Caleb had used steroids in the past and was also involved in some shady business dealings. There was no hard proof, but his reputation was completely destroyed. Chloe wasn't doing any better. Her entire social media history was picked apart, and every ambiguous interaction she'd ever had with another man was dragged out into the open. She had a total breakdown, texting me every day, begging me to stop. She said she knew she was wrong and pleaded with me to give her a chance to live. I forwarded her messages to Caleb. "Looks like my wife really misses you. Why don't you go comfort her?" It wasn't long before Caleb went to see Chloe, but he wasn't met with a warm embrace. He walked right into a trap. I had someone tip off a local gossip site about their meeting. While they were getting cozy in a restaurant, the photographers descended. The next day, their picture was on the front page of every local tabloid. Cheating couple reconciles, disgraced pair shows no remorse. That was it. Their last shred of dignity was gone. When Chloe's parents found out, her mother was so upset she nearly had to be hospitalized. They called me, begging me to forgive her, saying she was young and made a foolish mistake. I said only one thing. "Sir, ma'am, do you really think a woman like that deserves to be your daughter?" The line went silent. That night, Chloe knocked on my hotel room door. She had lost a lot of weight, and her face was terrifyingly pale. "Are you happy now?" she sobbed. "I've lost my job, my reputation is ruined, and even my parents have disowned me." "Yes, actually, I'm very happy," I said, leaning against the doorframe. "But it's not enough. What more could you possibly want from me?" She screamed hysterically. I'm already like this. What else do you want? I told you, this is just the beginning, I said, looking at her coldly. Remember to sign the divorce papers. We're going to get much, much worse. You've changed. She took a step back, fear in her eyes. You were never like this before. You're right, I have, I smiled. And I have you and Caleb to thank for showing me what the world is really like. I shut the door and opened my laptop. On the screen was all the information I had gathered, Caleb's dirty laundry, proof of his financial scams, and more photos of him with other women. This was more than enough to ensure he would never work in the fitness industry again. As for Chloe, I wanted her to live in a waking nightmare. I had someone Photoshop pictures of her with other men and post them on a popular beauty subreddit she frequented. The photos were fake, but they looked real enough. The post described her as a notorious homewrecker who specifically targeted married men. Soon, her own social media was under siege by angry commenters. People dug up old photos and accused her of getting plastic surgery. Others started rumors that she had a history of being the other woman, and this was just karma. I knew how much her image meant to her. These rumors were the perfect punishment. That evening, Caleb asked to meet me. We met at a coffee shop. He looked haggard, his eyes bloodshot. "What the hell do you want?" he asked as soon as he sat down. "What do I want?" I picked up my coffee and took a slow sip. "What do you think? This was all my fault. It has nothing to do with Chloe," he said through gritted teeth. "Come after me." I laughed. "What's this, trying to be the hero? Who do you think you are?" "Don't push it," he said, clenching his fists. "Push it." I set my cup down. "You didn't seem to think you were pushing it when you were screwing my wife." His face turned beet red. "You, don't get excited," I said, holding on my phone. "You want to make headlines again?" He instantly deflated. He'd learned his lesson. He knew I wasn't bluffing. "How much money do you want?" he finally asked. "Money?" I sneered. "Do you think I need your money?" "Then what the hell do you want?" "I want you both to be miserable," I said, looking him dead in the eye. "It's as simple as that." As I walked out of the coffee shop, I got a text from the PI. He had found out that Caleb was looking for a hacker to try and scrub his name from the internet. I scoffed. Did he really think he could just erase the past? His bank account was suddenly frozen. The reason given was suspected fraudulent activity. Soon after, the police came knocking. It turned out he really did have a history of scams that had never been uncovered. Now, his victims were finally coming forward to testify. The story blew up, and several news outlets reported on it. The headlines were beautiful. Cheating personal trainer accused of fraud. May face serious prison time. When Chloe saw the news, the first thing she did was call him. But all she got was a cold, automated voice. "The user you have dialed has their phone turned off." She panicked, sending him a frantic barrage of messages. But it was like screaming into the void. No response. That night, she came to find me again. "This was you, wasn't it?" she demanded, her eyes red with rage. "Why are you doing this? Do you have any proof?" I shot back. "If not, you should be careful. I could sue you for slander." "You?" She was trembling with anger. "You become a monster." "Takes one to know one." I smiled. "You become quite the slut, haven't you?" She raised her hand to slap me. I dodged it easily. "What? You want to get violent? Should I call the police?" She finally broke, slumping to the ground and sobbing uncontrollably. "Why are you doing this to me? Can't we just part on good terms?" "Part on good terms?" I crouched down to her level, staring into her eyes. "When you were betraying me, why didn't you think about parting on good terms?" She couldn't say a word. "Sign the papers," I said, standing up, "or we'll get worse." Back in my room, I opened my laptop. On the screen was Caleb's bank statement. There was a suspicious transfer. It seemed the guy still had a few tricks up his sleeve. I kept digging and found that he had recently been in contact with a woman. That woman was his ex-wife. Interesting. His ex-wife suddenly posted a long story on her Twitter. She wrote that Caleb had always been a monster, that he had cheated on her constantly during their marriage, and had beaten her. Now that he was finally facing consequences, she had to come forward and testify. The post included several photos, pictures of her bruises, hospital records, and screenshots of his flirty messages with other women. All hell broke loose. The police immediately opened an investigation. Soon, Caleb was taken into custody on charges of assault and battery. Chloe completely lost it. She alternated between trying to call Caleb and sending me messages begging for mercy. This time, I didn't even bother to read them. She started calling my parents, trying to get them to intervene. She told them she knew she was wrong and begged them to talk to me. My mom just cried. We raised our son for all these years, only for you to destroy him like this. My dad was even more direct. Don't ever contact us again. Our family has no place for someone like you. With nowhere else to turn, she went to Caleb's lawyer. But the lawyer informed her that Caleb had already taken a plea deal and would be sentenced soon. That night, she knocked on my door again. When I opened it, I found her completely drunk. "Ethan," she mumbled, clutching a bottle of wine and swaying on her feet. "Do you remember when we first met? You said you would love me and take care of me for the rest of our lives." "A pity you weren't worthy of it," I said flatly. She seemed not to hear me, talking to herself. "I really regret it. I regret it so much. I never should have chased a cheap thrill." "What's the point of saying that now? I know it's pointless," she said with a bitter laugh. "But I just really wanted to tell you. I'm sorry." I shut the door in her face. Behind me, I heard a loud thud. She must have fallen. I didn't look back. She was hospitalized. The doctor said it was alcohol poisoning. She almost didn't make it. Her parents came to the hospital to see her. When they saw me there, they immediately started begging me to forgive her. "Ma'am, sir," I said with a small smile, "do you really think betrayal is something that can be forgiven?" They were speechless. "So don't ask me for anything for her," I said, turning to leave. "It's better if you just pretend you never had a daughter." A month later, Caleb was sentenced to 3 years in prison. In addition to the assault charge, they proved he had committed fraud. He had taken money from dozens of gym members for training sessions he never provided. Watching him being led away in a prison van, I felt nothing. After Chloe was discharged from the hospital, she was a completely different person. No makeup, no sense of style. She just locked herself in her crappy little apartment all day. She sent me a text saying she wanted to see me one last time. I went. She looked like a ghost, but she had still made an effort to dress up. The glow she once had was completely gone. "Here are the signed divorce papers," she said, handing me the folder. "I don't want anything. Just please let me go." I took them and looked them over. Perfect. All assets went to me. She was leaving with nothing. "You finally learned your lesson," I said, putting the folder away. "Congratulations. You're about to be free." She gave a bitter smile. "Free? I haven't been free for a long time. My life. You've completely destroyed it." "Is that so?" I stood up. "And what about my life? You don't think you destroyed it?" She froze. "You think I enjoyed doing all this to you?" I scoffed. "I wish I had never met you." "I'm sorry." She started crying again. "Don't say you're sorry," I said, walking toward the door. "You don't deserve to say those 3 words. "Wait," she called out suddenly. "There's something I have to tell you." I stopped. I'm pregnant." I turned to look at her. "So, it's yours," she said, her hand on her stomach. I checked the dates. It was from that night. I laughed. "Are you sure it's mine? And not Caleb's?" The color drained from her face again. "Save it," I sneered. "You think a baby is going to make me forgive you? Keep dreaming." "No," she said desperately. "I don't expect you to forgive me. I just wanted to tell you." "Tell me what?" I cut her off. "Tell me about the new trick you're trying to use to trap me." "No." "Get an abortion," I said coldly, "or you know what will happen." She collapsed to her knees, sobbing. "Please, it's a life." "So what?" I looked down at her. "Do you think you deserve to be a mother?" After leaving her apartment, I called a private investigator. I told him to keep an eye on her to make sure she actually went through with it. A few days later, the hospital report was sent to my phone. She really had the procedure. After it was done, she sent me one last text. "This is what I owed you. For now on, we're even." I didn't reply. 3 days went by. I was at work when I got a call from the police. They said Chloe had tried to kill herself. Someone found her in time, and they were able to save her. She left a note, the officers said. It said everything was her fault and asked for your forgiveness. She's in the ICU right now. Do you want to come see her? "No, thank you," I said and hung up. That night when I got home, I turned on the TV. The news was reporting a homicide. Caleb had been beaten to death in prison. The report said he had crossed the wrong people and was bludgeoned with a piece of a bed frame by a fellow inmate. I turned off the TV and lit a cigarette. It had started to rain outside, a soft, steady drizzle. It was just like the day I first met Chloe 3 years ago. She was wearing a white sundress and carrying a clear umbrella. She looked like an angel. Who would have thought that Angel would turn into this? I crushed out the cigarette and picked up my phone. Her last message was still on the screen. This is what I owed you. From now on, we're even. Even, huh? It's never that easy. 06. 3 months later, I got another promotion. I was now the VP of engineering. My career was taking off, and my life was back in order. After her suicide attempt, Chloe's parents took her away. I heard they moved overseas. I never heard anything else. I started dating the new director of marketing at my company. She was kind, intelligent, and completely my type. On our first date, she asked cautiously, "I heard you were divorced." I said with a smile. "That's all in the past now. Do you hate her?" I shook my head. "I don't hate her. Thinking about it now, she was just a pathetic person." "You're a very kind man," she said, looking touched. I didn't say anything. Kind. If she knew what I had done, would she still think that? When I got home that night, I opened my laptop and deleted every file I had on Chloe. It was time to move on. Just as I was about to shut it down, I saw an email from an unknown address. I opened it. It was from Chloe's mother. "Ethan, she's gone. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer after she came here. She didn't last a month. Before she passed, she asked me to tell you one thing. She's finally paid you back for everything she owed. I'm sorry for your loss." I closed the email and opened the window. It was raining again. I suddenly remembered years ago when we were still in love. She always wanted to kiss me in the rain. She said if you closed your eyes when you kissed, you could hear the sound of the raindrops on the umbrella, and it was the most romantic thing in the world. Thinking about it now, those kisses, that romance, it was all fake, wasn't it? I took out my phone and scrolled her number. It had been blocked for a long time. I pressed delete and watched her name disappear from my contacts list. It was all over.